All right, we begin this half hour talking about how Albuquerque Public School Superintendent Winston Brooks will be at the center of yet another closed-door meeting.
The school board just changed its agenda for a special meeting set for tomorrow, and will now talk about the superintendent. Officially, I looked at it this morning. The agenda says the board will talk about Brooks's performance, actions, and contract. The board has been talking about Brooks a lot recently, including having a meeting on Monday that went for 5 hours. But has not said exactly what is going on. Now, we know the board president, Annalee Maestas, has hired a private attorney to look into, quote, a serious personnel issue, but she won't say more about it. Now, we have learned, though, it involves the behavior of Winston Brooks' wife. Remember last November, Brooks called 911 after getting into an argument with his wife at their home in Cedar Crest, saying she was very upset and things got physical. That was when Brooks was suspended for tweeting controversial comments about Education Secretary-designate Hannah Scandera. We'll stay on this story and let you know what we find out. At 5:32, we now know more about what happened before and after a man wanted for murder shot at police and ended up shooting and killing himself in Albuquerque this week.
It turns out that friends of Marcos Delgado may have actually encouraged him to go out with a bang, I should say. Police say Delgado shot and killed his ex-girlfriend and wounded 3 others at an auto detail shop near I-25 in Candelaria last Friday. According to the criminal complaint, Delgado became enraged after he thought he heard his ex-girlfriend with another man during a phone call. Delgado dropped out of sight for a few days before turning up near 12th and Candelaria late Monday. Now, police say Josephine Bailey and Rafael Reza were in the SUV when Delgado began shooting at officers. They say some friends were urging Delgado to turn himself in with the help of an attorney, while others apparently were encouraging him to go out in a blaze of glory. Now, it ended with Delgado taking his own life, according to cops. Bailey and Reza were both arrested for harboring a fugitive. And Rafael Reza actually tried asking a judge for a lighter bond.
That he knew that he was armed. So the potential for dangerousness and violence in light of the violence that is alleged to have transpired that resulted in the death of, well, now 2 people, it does make it a much more serious situation.
Reza tried arguing yesterday he wasn't driving, therefore he wasn't helping Delgado, but the Metro Court judge felt he did play a role in everything that went down Monday. According to a criminal complaint, Reza claims that he had just met Delgado on Friday and that on Monday night, Delgado told him that he was going to shoot at police. The judge opted for a $2,500 cash or surety bond.
The state superintendent who oversees licenses for everyone from physical therapists to nail technicians is now launching an internal investigation after a board gave a convicted felon a state security guard license. That felon is Bryce Harper here and has a kidnapping charge on his record. Harper was arrested this week, accused of assaulting a woman at an apartment complex where he was working as a guard. State law says people who want to be security guards cannot have any felony convictions no matter how long ago it happened. Well, it turns out the board in charge of granting licenses for guards was playing by its own rules. It made a policy that says after 10 years it would consider felons for licenses.
I would even want to know, how did they go about adopting it? Did they have, legal advice? On what basis it's kind of just a good old boy thing? Hey, we know about this rule and so 10 years sounds good to me and so we're going to adopt it?
Mike Unthank there says exactly when and where the board came up with that exception for security guards is not clear. It's not written in state or federal law, and the new policy isn't even in writing. Mr. Unthank says he's going to get to the bottom of this and that the state has now suspended Harper's license. Well, police are now releasing the name of an armed robber who was shot and killed at a smoke shop in Northeast Heights last weekend. Investigators say William Joseph Corey robbed a clerk at the Oasis Smoke Shop and Hookah Lounge on Manal near Wyoming in Albuquerque on Sunday. The store owner says Corey left with the cash, but then went back and was irate.
It looked like a simple robbery, walking in, taking everything that they want and leave, but it wasn't. He came back, from the looks of it, extremely, extremely angry, looking to hurt people.
Police say when Corey threatened workers, one of them grabbed a gun and shot him. Investigators have not said if the clerk, who does have a concealed carry permit, will face any charges. Well, Tico Energy of Florida now has the green light from the Public Regulation Commission, the PRC, to buy the New Mexico gas company for $950 million. That's $330 million more than the New Mexico Gas paid for PNM's natural gas division just 6 years ago. Tico expects to close the deal in a month and has promised to keep the New Mexico Gas Company name, keep the headquarters here in Albuquerque, and says it's going to try to keep layoffs to a minimum. Opponents of the purchase are afraid Tico will have to jack up the rates to pay for the deal. The company has promised to freeze rates until 2017.
All right, a bizarre story of a person dressed as a Grim Reaper is now gaining national attention. Did I not tell you this was going to happen? I said,
did.
This is going to go national. It's
You
such
did.
a bizarre story.
All right, the mysterious sighting at a cemetery has the pastor in charge of it stumped.
Oh my God, I got the chills all over my body.
That cell phone video taken Sunday shows the cloaked figure hovering at the old cemetery near Gibson and I-25. It was enough to stop traffic on part of the interstate. The mystery man or woman seen on the eve of the supermoon, that adds a whole nother degree of superstition to this, is holding what looks like a bouquet of flowers, but it's not clear what this person was doing and why.
Sometimes there are people who love the witchcraft or battle rites, satanic rites, and they love to go to the cemeteries. Is a place of the dead.
What he said. The church pastor says he is not jumping to conclusions, though, because there is no evidence the person was dabbling with the dark side or committing any crime.